So for this first part, I'll be showing you guys how to clean the synthetic hair, and I just cleaned out my sink and I have apple cider vinegar, and typically people use regular vinegar, but this is just what I had, and that's okay too. So you use about quarter to half of the bottle and put it in the sink, but I didn't realize my sink wasn't big enough, so I had to use a bin, but it's okay. So you see that on the hair I had secured the ends with a band, and I suggest you do this so that once the hair is dry it's not tangled with the other hairs. I recommend, highly recommend, to just use warm water. Do not make it too hot because this is synthetic hair, and if it's too hot the hair will start melting or you just lose the texture of the hair. So I fill up this bin with the hair and I add the rest of water that I had in the sink that already had vinegar in it. So this is how the hair looks before, and you just set your timer to 15 minutes and have it sit. So now it's been 15 minutes. I have the hanger, and you just want to wring out the hair. Don't be too rough with it because you don't want to get it tangled, or you don't want to lose the texture of the hair by pulling it too much while it's still wet. And you just put it on the hanger, and I put all the hair in the hanger and just hanged it up in my shower. And this is how it is. It's done, it's dry. It seemed a little more fluffier. The texture is basically the same, and this is how you clean synthetic hair.
Don't just be answering my prayer. I got turn around. You're annoying. Turn around.
Okay, so let's begin. I used 100% Kanekalon hair. They call it Reggae hair on the pack, but it's known as Marley hair. And I used rubber bands and hair glue. I recommend using hair glue instead of burning the ends like I did, because a lot of times the hairs snag to each other or to other things. Now I started by parting my hair and adding the extensions to them. This makes it much easier, and you'll also be able to gauge how much hair you're going to need for each lock. I used about 11 strands for each lock. You'll see in the packs that they come separated, so that's what I mean by strands. And I have a total of 17 locks in my hair, and I used about 6 packs or a little more. So we begin by twisting the hair loosely all the way down to the end, and I purposely grew out my roots a little bit so that it'll be easier to add the hair. Now you'll take 4 strands and use the full length of it to add as an extension. You will use a little bit of your hair and the synthetic hair to then attach and use a rubber band to tie together. Now to prevent your hair from sticking out, you'll wrap the synthetic hair around yours. You will be using 3 strands for the top section of the hair, and you'll have a smaller end and a longer end, so you'll then wrap the longer end underneath your hair, and that's what you'll use to wrap around your hair. Make sure to firmly hold that shorter end to your hair, but for me, because I want a more natural look, you have to wrap around loosely. And also I heard that if you use synthetic hair, be careful of putting it too close to your roots because it actually causes breakage. Continue wrapping down till the hair ends, and make sure to remember to do it loosely, because when you do it too tight then you'll start getting that typical faux lock look and it will be shiny. because I wanted mid-thigh length locks, we are actually about 1/3 of the way down, so continue wrapping loosely. Take a shorter end of the Marley hair and add that to the shorter end of the hair that you have just wrapped. You hold it firmly and then just continue wrapping as normal by going underneath. Okay, so we're down to the last leg, and we'll add 2 more strands just like the last section, and you'll continue doing the same thing by using the shorter end of the Marley hair and attach it to the shorter end of the hair that you just wrapped. You attach them, hold them together, hold it firmly, and continue by wrapping underneath.
It's right here, a different kind of thing. Me see her and me just want to sing. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby.
Now we're at the end where we need to start tying the hair, and you'll make it more secure by start wrapping it up first and then you will tie it. You may also want to tie or knot that bottom end as well to make it even more secure, and then afterwards you just use hair glue to secure those ends. And we're almost done. Now you just have to cut those ends, trim certain hairs that are excessively sticking out, and then secure it with hair glue. And we're done. I love these faux locks because they're super lightweight and they're very natural looking.
3 steps out the door, 4, I can't waste the day no more. The sunlight's coming down in the evening where she's found.
If afterwards you realize you need to add more hair because your hair is showing or some other hair is sticking out excessively, you can add hair just like how you add an extension.
Yeah, baby.